Well, we're here in Wilbur in front of the Saline County Courthouse where on Monday morning, Aubrey Trail pleaded guilty to one of 3 felony charges he faces in the murder trial of Sidney Loof. Trail on Monday pleading guilty to improper disposal of human remains, which is a Class 4 felony and could be punishable for up to 2 years in prison. But obviously, Trail still faces the possibility of the death penalty if convicted here. I'm Tommy Rezac for News Channel Nebraska, along with our legal analyst, David Solheim. We were both present for the plea change hearing on Monday, obviously the first step in what could be a multi-week trial here. And David, kind of an interesting timing with this guilty plea. I guess in your mind, how does it kind of change this trial?
It's an interesting strategy to enter a guilty plea right before you're headed into jury selection on a murder charge. And so, what happens is it's really going to lock Mr. Trail into his story, the story that he's told the media in the past, that he was responsible for this killing, but that it was an accident. And so that relieves the prosecution of the burden of proving parts of this case, but I don't think it's going to limit the evidence that's presented to the jury. So it's really an interesting tactic by Mr. Trail at the beginning of this trial.
Now, he was wheeled in this morning. We've come to know he's had 2 heart attacks and a stroke since being charged in this case back in December of 2017. So that's obviously been a big storyline, something we're watching. And so the hearing itself lasted only about 10 to 15 minutes. It was a pretty quick and easy start around 8:30 Monday morning. And then it was on to jury selection. And David, you were there for some of that. They moved it to the Legion just down the street because there's potentially a lot of jurors involved, right?
Yeah, that's correct, Tommy. So over 300 people have received jury summons in this case. Over 200 showed up for court for jury selection today, and they packed the Legion Hall. And all these people sat through hours of questioning on the basics of whether they could sit and be an impartial juror. And everybody who was called up to the panel, all 45 of them who endured this initial set of questioning, all 45 said they had heard about the case, they had followed it in the media, but only 6 had said that they had already formed an opinion that they could not change. And so jury selection is going to continue into tomorrow. And there's a lot of folks who are sitting in that Legion Hall waiting their turn to see if they're going to make the jury.
Yeah, and there were reports that Sidney Loof's father was seated in the back of the room as well. So obviously an emotional thing going on with this. And so the last thing, David, we come to know this morning that this could be up to a 4-week process when we initially thought it was 3. I guess in your mind, why the extension?
I'm not sure. I think the judge is just being cautious. She wants to make sure that they've got enough time on the calendar. If there's something that goes awry with the trial, that they've got time to fly in another witness if they need be. During jury selection, the prosecution noted that they have over 90 witnesses listed as potential witnesses, including witnesses from places like Google and Apple and Tinder. And so if they need to bring in those people at the last second, I think the judge wants to have plenty of time to get the folks here that both sides, frankly, the prosecution or the defense, need to provide testimony at this trial.
Yeah, we'll see if it's interesting. I've heard people speculate that the fact that he's pleaded guilty to one of 3 charges could speed things along, but that's obviously purely speculative. We'll have to kind of wait and see what happens here. Well, we encourage you to stay tuned to News Channel Nebraska. We will be here in Wilbur through this whole thing. We will be here every day until this trial is case closed, basically. So continue to watch NCN all week. Go to our website, newschannelnebraska.com, and we'll have updates as soon as we get them here from the Saline County seat. For David Solheim, I'm Tommy Rezac reporting in front of the Saline County Courthouse in Wilbur for News Channel Nebraska.